let's take a look at the Agile. And then I know the font is teeny, so we will try to make it as huge as possible. So if I were to look at this, right, we're in sprint 4. I see that there are still stories that are open. And we're at the end of sprint 4, we're starting integration. So can we do a quick overview of where we're at? If we were to look at this, we have 12 in progress. Okay, so we have 12 to do, 12 in progress, and 20 done. We can go over the looks like the in progress items are process packet out from agent and send packet in of agent towards the northbound edge core adapter. A mechanism to save immutable cluster configuration is required for backups. So I guess the question I have, we know the adapter work is going to continue. I think the main things we're going to need are the non-adapter pieces to make sure that we can get into integration testing. So based upon this, stories that seem to be impacted around the ONOS control plane applications, I see a bug with AJ and a bug with pawn configuration. So based upon that, can we go into integration testing?
So the question is, I think there's a lot of, I think Dave Bainbridge has a few ONOS, those open, but other than that one, so what you're saying is, so there's a backup and restore story was that one. So, I mean, are people all complete or something still in progress? So
the version upgrades on the ONO stuff are still in progress. We've got to find someone who has authority to create branches in the tree, and I don't, and Jono doesn't, so that we can actually do some of this version upgrade.
Have you guys had a chance to talk with Andy?
I was going to chat with him this morning. It was last night where Jono and I were figuring some of this out. He's online now. I wasn't online earlier. I will chat with him, but we probably should have someone other than Andy with branch authority.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I think I have a way to do it. So
okay.
I'll see if that works, and if not, we'll talk with Andy.
Great.
Okay, so we do have versions of these apps that are not versions, right? So as folks go into integration testing, are we okay using what's there or the snapshot version? Or are we asking that people hold off?
I think people can test with the snapshot version. There may be a little disruption when we switch over.
Okay, I think it would be. So that exception, I think it sounds like we're okay with. How long do we think it'll take to be complete with those?
Depends how things go.
Yeah, I would say today or tomorrow for the versioning.
Okay. And then if we walk through this list,
there's 84, right? Volt 84.
so we have the backup restore. So if I ignore Here, let me go to this view. Okay, so if we go through each of these, we still have 2 backup and restore stories that are in progress. Is Sergio on?
So Michelle, do you know where Ken is? Oh, Sergio's on.
Yeah, but I can't read that on the screen, so.
Okay, it's about.
Okay, let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to change over to just showing.
I mean, Sergio said you cannot read it. Is that because it's too small, or?
Oh. It's too small.
Yeah, it's too small for me. Yeah.
My laptop or anything.
Okay, I don't know what. At least on the AT&T application, if you use the app, they should have a enlarge feature on the bottom left.
Yeah, my Zoom actually is disabled for some reason, so I wasn't able to zoom in. Now it's enabled.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to just share out a specific app. And then hopefully this will allow us to just all see it. Does that work?
No, both screens.
Full screen?
Yeah. Do you have like, I don't know, if you shared an app, I don't know if it said there's
Yeah, I just shared an app.
So people can. Is a Volt 84?
Can you see this app I'm sharing?
I can share if you want me to just if.
Yeah, that would be good if you can just share the app.
Can everybody see now?
Yep.
Yeah, that's better. So this, I think, yeah, this is about backup restore. So we don't, it's still in progress. I think Ken is assigned to it.
I thought we had discussed this one. The only one that we needed to action on backup and restore was saving the console data, not the cluster data, because the cluster just gets reinstalled and then you restore the provisioning information. There was one that was assigned to Ken. Is this it? Mechanism? Is there another backup and restore one, or is this the only one? Because if this is the only one, then Ken has a procedure for that. There's no code to write.
So what's the other one?
So Sean, go to backlog, left side. Go to backlog. Okay, and then click on Epics on the left. Now filter just the top one. Click on the top one. Yep. So there are 2 stories.
Okay, so this Volt 112 is the one that we need for POC3, and Ken has a procedure for that.
So so 112. I like to keep two different windows on 12.
So can Ken document this and send it out?
Yeah, Ken's going to document it and send it out.
By when?
We'll have him send it this week. It's one curl command.
Is this needed for the integration testing?
Sorry?
Is this needed for integration testing?
No. Unless you want to do HA testing during the integration testing, but there's a lot more stuff that needs to be tested before you start testing HA and backup and restore. So I wouldn't be concerned about not having it when you start integration testing. You want to test all your success paths first before you start testing the failure paths.
So can we say this one is not okay?
I would put the other one in the backlog, Sean, for VOLTHA 1.1.
Okay. I'm okay with that. There's 1.1. Okay. Sorry.
You're getting good at this. Soon you'll be the Scrum Master.
Oh, man. Okay. So this one we can say backlog, right? Or
You just remove the sprint and it'll start into
okay, just remove this. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so what we're saying is 112 will be documented, 84 went back into the backlog.
Yeah. Okay. I guess at this point, yeah, we're okay with that as long as we have the procedure or script we can do. I think individual participants just have to make sure they can show us this when they're in the lab.
Next, pond configuration. Do you want to move to the next topic?
Pond configuration. There's a warning, right? There's a bug here. I think most of the Sprint 4 are done. Is this bug? Surisha, you mentioned that was assigned to. Oh.
So it's warnings issued during protobuf compilation. It looks like it's a pretty low priority issue.
Yeah, it's the lowest priority. It's just a compile warning.
I raised it as a low priority. There's a bunch of defined but not used items in the protobuf descriptions. So I don't think it's a high priority, but if I had a pedantic mode, I'd set it so that it would just result in errors. So it's the same way the Go compiler does. Rather than
we can fix it. I don't think it's the highest priority. We'll fix it when we get.
No, it's not. That's why I set it to low priority.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think this is a Sprint 4, and plus we're done with Sprint 4. So at most it'll go into Sprint 5 or Sprint 6, which is the hardening sprint, and it's low priority enough. I don't know if it'll even make that cut.
Okay.
So the notes I have for this would be, should be moved to backlog, may be considered for Sprint 6.
There's no Okay. So
yeah,
just delete it.
remove the sprint. Yes.
Okay. So
And then VOLTHA HA.
$388. 338. Or if agent should not block during the subscribe stream gRPC calls.
I'm going to check and see if that one's done. You can just move on. I'll let you know in a second or in a minute.
This is different actually. What is the current plan around? Oh, that's send it to Sergio. Next one. Remote, that's done. Support your model, not. VOLTHA security, nothing here. VOLTHA integration documentation. I guess there should be documentation, but we don't see anything here. VOLTHA installation and configuration. Oh, sorry. And document VOLTHA admin guide. I don't think ONT or OOT interoperability has anything. Software firmware updates. Is that, I might actually, okay. There's a backlog, persist, ONU provisioning. I think there's nothing else, right?
Just, we had talked about the ONOS apps. So there are issues around versioning. Is there anything else besides versioning that we need to take into account?
There's some outstanding patches around some of the ONOS app stuff. The patches are already submitted. They are under review, need to be reviewed. Assuming they get reviewed good, they'll get merged. There's at least one bug in that. There's a couple other feature updates that are still under review. Again, the patches are submitted. It's just in the review stage.
So the bug you're talking about is the Volt 375?
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay, so for Volt 338, the coding was done, but it wasn't accepted at review because it's blocking something else. So you're going to need to move it into Sprint 5.
Yeah, maybe Yuan, can you type? I'm not good in typing. Can you type on 338? So Sergio, what you're saying, the code has been done, but it's been blocking. Okay, we need better.
So the code was completed, and then during the code review, right, as part of the process, some issues were highlighted where it would block something else, and so it's being fixed. So it won't be in time for the end of Sprint 4.
And I think we see some inconsistencies around JIRA, too, about when items are moved from in process to done. And probably should be very clear about that in terms of JIRA typically shouldn't be moved, in my opinion anyway, to done until it has been merged.
Yes.
Not just code.
Yeah, I agree.
Submitted.
That's why. So the code submitted but not merged is basically where we're at with this one. And I don't want to set it to done until the merge occurs.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that's universally been applied everywhere.
It should be.
Yeah.
So Sean, I've taken notes for these things too, so I can go through and post-process also if you want to.
I type it the code submitted and not merged. But instead of to do, would that be in progress, or it doesn't matter?
I think in progress, and then we'll have to change it. Probably move it to. I think the request is to move it to VOLTHA Sprint 5. We don't have a VOLTHA Sprint 5 except for adapter. So I can create one. But go ahead and move to the next thing, and then I'll work on this in the background.
Okay. Device management, I think this one is done. VOLTHA common ONU adapter, there's no story under it. Diagnostic, nothing. Edge core, there's a lot of stuff. But we're going through all these tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we'll go through them tomorrow.
And the edge core. The rest mostly edge core. VOLTHA QoS support is not here. VOLTHA code standard VOLTHA core. That's it. So I can give you back your the presentation, right? Because you have the PowerPoint, right? Presentation.
I do, but let's move on to Sprint 5 planning. So what I wanted to talk about, and we can just talk through this, is Sprint 5 planning is focused on integration, right? So my understanding of how this would work is that each of the vendors are going to go and test their own version of the VOC, or their own OLT, ONT. So the thing to keep in mind is this sprint is only 1 week long. So the plan is that by the end of this week, defects should be submitted. So what Sean and I will do is, by Friday or Monday, we're going to take a look through the backlog for defects. And then what we'll do is we'll prioritize the defects for the next sprint, and we'll do that review next Tuesday. And so the expectation then is that integration testing would occur. We're not really doing any stories to track that. Everyone's kind of going off, and then defects should be submitted as testing occurs. And the guidelines for testing is per what Sean has put together.
Do we have any, for the Spring 4, do we have any story we can have a demo? Right. Usually at the end of the sprint, we'll have a demo regarding to what has been implemented, right? So, any technical lead think what you have contribute can be available for demo? Okay.
So we had demos a few sprints ago that we never did, but I don't think it's worthwhile going back in history and doing demos that we wanted to do a few sprints ago. So I would say no.
Okay.
From my guys.
And I think that for POM config, some of the Spring 4 stuff was demoed on the when we had the second try. I think Srisha, I think I'm correct on that one. Okay.
Oh, and plus we only have 13 minutes. I want to make sure that we end on time so that David can start his call on branching. Right. So I think we've done Sprint 4 reviews. That's good. Tomorrow we'll handle the adapter review and then planning for adapter Sprint 5. Sprint 5 for VOLTHA is really focused on integration. So the understanding is that each vendor will go off, do the testing, and then bring back defects with understanding that by the end of this week, we'll do a review of the defects. And then make sure that you provide the appropriate priority. We'll probably just walk through it priority-wise and then see what seems critical. And then my assumption is we're using 1.10.3 for ONOs for the app. The only note I want to add is that we're in the process of cutting a 1.10.4, probably within this week due to a route to REST API issue that is needed for XOS automation, but this should not be a problem for VOLTHA. And then the other thing I have on the agenda for today is there was supposed to be an update from Yang on the TNW ONU. Is he on the call?
Oh, he probably didn't get an updated meeting invite.
No, I don't think so. This is Kim. So we're in the process of trying to, to tighten the information that's going on there. We got a little bit. We're kind of not sure exactly what state, kind of what the roadmap for TNW ONU support is on the firmware that's inside of there. So we're trying with our guys. We're trying to get, we had a summary of questions. I think that Steve Brooks, you saw that list of questions, and we got some responses, but then that prompts other questions. So we wanted to try to get some, get on a call with them to try to get a little bit more information about timing and features and capabilities and such. So that's ongoing right now. Nothing has been arranged right at this moment, but we're trying to get that within the next few days if we can.
Okay, because one of the things we had talked about last week was whether we needed an adapter for this. And if so, we'll have to handle it as part of the sprint cloud planning for the adapter.
Yeah, that kind of ties back to what, how much is different in there, or what, what variation needs to be in there. We don't know quite for sure, so we're hoping that it doesn't take a substantially new adapter, but it could. So we just don't know enough on that.
So
right now.
We did start an email exchange asking TNW about the possibility of producing a non-RG or SFU image. At the moment, as far as we're aware, they don't have one.
Yeah, and then it was a little bit confusing because it said there's a gateway version and a bridging version, but we didn't quite know exactly what that meant. And they said they had a gateway version, but not a bridging version or something like that. So
yeah, I think the description gateway version seemed to be the same as the bridging version, so that's a little confusing.
Yeah. So.
So is there any way, even if they earn the gateway version, is there any way they can configure disable the gateway version and only support the bridged version? If that's the case, I think we can manually disable that when you guys come to the lab. I mean, okay, so I can people who are engaging with them, can we get a more firm answer tomorrow morning? I know time is short and they're probably working with people in China, but let's address that tomorrow morning call. Would that be possible?
Yeah, if we get responses from TNW, and we've asked the questions, and it sounds like Sienna's asked a few questions as well, so maybe we'll get some response back by tomorrow.
Yeah, Sean, how firm are you on using the SFU or non-RG based image?
Right now, this is just in the lab. Definitely, we'll need a SFU version, right? But
in the lab, we will.
In the lab, we will use the SFU version. But in the production, during the field trial, there is a potential because the environment in the field trial and because of the RG limitation we have today, the RG limitation we have today is only have 1 gig interface. So in order to test the throughput, we need to be able to connect the server directly to the ONU, and then use the 10 gig interface, right? So I'm sure Sienna and Redis and Nokia, you guys worked on this before. That you can connect the ONU directly to the RG or compute PC directly to the ONU, and you can run the throughput testing. But I don't know about the radius portion. If there's no RG part, then how exactly the radius? I think you need to simulate the radius and DHCP exchange messages, right? So that part right now by the end of this year for the field trial, we may need to go that approach. That's what I'm saying. If we want to have the throughput more than 1 gig. You guys know what I'm saying here?
I do. Not clear to me how that relates to the gateway or RG versus non-RG version of the firmware that's running on the ONU.
So in the lab, if we connect RG behind the ONU, right? Then the RG has to be SFU. Is that correct? Not RG. The ONU has to be SFU.
Well, not necessarily, I don't think. It's just the ONU would have additional capabilities that likely wouldn't be used. Right? There's Wi-Fi configuration.
True.
Right. Other features
right.
of the ONU that are not required for the trial.
Correct.
But if TNW just cannot produce,
that's what I'm saying. If they can disable gateway function, we can use the gateway load.
Yeah, it sounds like towards the end of the year though, so it's not going to be for POC 3, but maybe for the field trial.
For the field trial, maybe the ONU need to run the gateway image. Yes, that's what I'm saying here.
I think we've asked before the ability to disable, the gateway functionality, and it was not easy in one thing, right? So it's one or the other, and it has to be different loads.
Can you guys keep talking talk to them and then get a firm answer, and then we can address this, and let me go back to the test team, see what they can do.
Right.
Okay, so let's pick this up tomorrow, and then we've got 4 minutes. The thing I wanted to confirm, Sean, is do all the vendors have the test plan?
Have the what?
The test plan to start integration. Testing this week.
Yes, all the vendor has the test strategy document. So this spreadsheet I'm showing right now is what we did in the beginning of the VOLTHA 1.0, even before the kickoff meeting, and the participant put together, and so and then we set a priority list. We have a first priority list. We have high, middle, low. And then among highs, we divide on H1, H2, H3. So these are all the test cases in the test strategy document. Basically, I think Suresh converts them into this spreadsheet. So what I've been doing is, because I want to be able to at least align the team here and also the testing team in Austin for AT&T, is what we can do, what we cannot do in VOLTHA 1.0. And also I also included as what can be done on the OLT and what can on all the OLT, and what are the test cases is only for the edge core OLT only. So I'm going to share this back to you guys, to the team. What I'm asking is, it is hard to map the epics and stories into the test case in here. So I have a column called VOLTHA 1.0, and when I say yes, means that's something VOLTHA 1.0 will support and the test team can test. Stretch means, maybe some of you are it's stretch codes means I don't believe it's supported today, but maybe I'm not quite clear about that, or I'm not quite certain about it. So, and then VOLTHA 1.0 plus is for the next release. So I'm sort of categorize the VOLTHA between yes, no, and stretch, 3 different categories, and then also I specify which test cases will be applicable with against which type of the OLT. Some of the stuff is not hardware related, so I didn't populate those information. It would be great if the technical lead take this back and then see whether my category is correct, so I can feed the information back into the testing. So at least if that's something is not supported in the VOLTHA 1.0 or it's part of the stretch, then they don't have to spend time trying to debug and try to resolve the issue. So would that be okay if I send it back to each team and the community? I think I can share this in the VOLTHA wiki. So I'm going to post this one on the VOLTHA wiki, and then I would like people to review that, maybe give me the feedback on Thursday. Yuan, would that be okay?
Yep.
Should be. Yep. When are you going to post it?
Today. Within this morning.
Okay, thanks.
I think I'm almost done.
Cool.
And
okay,
then
so
I think these test cases will be the best. Can be the basis for the individual when they go back to their lab and when they do the testing. So I think this practice will help the integration testing also. Yuan, sorry, I take your time.
So Sean, quickly, I assume that this content is really in sync with whatever the updated test strategy, right? That you
I hope so. If not, then let me know. My eyes is totally blurry these days. I hope so.
Yeah, but this is good. Thank you.
okay, we're at the end of the hour. So from a next step standpoint, Sean's going to be posting this. We're gathering feedback, and then integration testing is going to start. Please start posting any issues you find as defects, and then we'll start reviewing those by the end of the week for next Tuesday. And then tomorrow we'll go through the the adapter status. So if you can please update your JIRA tickets there, we'll review it. Start sprint 5 for the adapter work. And then we'll also sync up on the adapter for the ONU. And then on Thursday, we'll go over the branching plan, because by the end of the integration sprint, we need to get a branch set up so that we can do VOLTHA 1.0. And part of that discussion is also going to be, right, what are we going to do with the adapter work? Because I understand it's all in on repo. So, okay? Okay, thanks everyone. We'll pick this up again tomorrow morning, and hopefully go to a meeting will work.
Yeah.
This is Chip. I had a quick comment. I guess over the weekend they turned on the copyright checks for all the Cord code, and currently we've got it. I had it turned off last night, or currently for the VOLTHA code. So there's a lot of existing code out there that doesn't have copyright. So as a group, do we want to keep the copyright check turned off in the Garrett process for now? I would say until POC 3, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I just wanted to bring that up because it's actually not your code. It could be any code in VOLTHA.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of busy work that we probably don't have time for between now and POC 3.
Okay, I was pretty sure, so I just wanted to pass it on.
I think one thing we may want to discuss is that we're releasing this thing, right? So theoretically, as part of the release, we should make sure that copyright is correct.
Okay. So should I stop recording now?
Yes.